The students in this third grade class are studying habitats. They are using KidPix Deluxe software to create slideshows about the habitats they chose to study. Then they will create a new organism that could live in that habitat. The teacher uses a graphic organizer to demonstrate how the students can collect ideas for their last slide.
Let me give you an example of what we're going to use as a graphic organizer today, okay? Think of your very perfect vacation. A vacation, and you know how vacations sometimes last a week and sometimes they last maybe 2 days. So it doesn't have to be your longest vacation or your, just think of a part of your vacation that you really, really enjoyed. Okay? Think back on a time you really, really enjoyed. And we are going to come up with the perfect vacation. We're going to put all these elements or parts of a vacation and make a perfect vacation. Pretty nice vacation?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now you're going to do something like this using the same graphic organizer to create your last slide, which will be to create a new organism that will fit into your habitat. You get to think of all the adaptations that the animals and plants in your habitat make so they can survive in that habitat. I broke the students up into groups of 3. I have 24 students, so I was able to have 8 groups. Each one of them then was assigned a habitat. They were to find information about this habitat and make a slideshow that taught others about their habitat. So they used the computer. At first they used the computer to just get an idea of how the KidPix program worked. So they played around with the tools in that program. I gave them one website, Enchanted Learning, I felt had good information on each habitat. They were able to look up animals and plants that were in their habitat and then take that information and make a slide. They made approximately 5 slides of animals and 5 slides of plants. One slide that showed the food web or the food chain for that habitat. And then they each made a slide talking about themselves and how they felt about the project. So talk in your group about these things. You're going to be writing about the characteristics of your animal, the characteristics of your habitat, and then you're going to come together and make the perfect organism. Just like we did the perfect vacation.
The students work in groups to discuss their habitats.
What'd you start writing?
With the desert we were working on don't have a lot of water.
Good. That would, if the first thing I think of when I think of a desert is that there's not a lot of water.
And there's not a lot of plants too.
She said some deserts have a bunch of water.
No.
Okay, explain that.
Okay. I read something in the encyclopedia at my house, and it says that some deserts have a lot of water.
Okay, would that be like an oasis? A place where there is an area of water? And then we also, remember when we were reading on the website and it talked about the cold desert?
Yeah.
You know? So there are lots of different
Deserts.
kinds of deserts. I want you to think about the one you studied and the one that you made the model of. Okay?
The students then discuss possible characteristics of the new organisms they will create.
Okay. What should be its... Okay, well each... Let's see, how many adaptations should it have? I think it should have that much. Yeah. It needs to have a lot of adaptations. It's a weird animal. Okay. So the first adaptation should be We'll take one from each and we'll just go around.
Okay. How about speak of the red-tailed hawk? Yes, we do. That's what I'm gonna put. Something else. Right here. Wings of a bird. The eyes of a gray wolf, because they're good.
The students are ready to create slides about their new organisms with KidPix Deluxe. The teacher describes how the students can use 2 different colored cups to indicate if they need her assistance.
One thing I want to do today, because we'll all be working in here, and some of you are used to going and working in the lab, and some are used to not having all the computers in here. You're used to going to a different room. I want to be able to help you if you need help, but you can't be running around the room and asking me all at once, can you? Because I wish I had 5 hands and 3 brains, but I don't. Okay? So I want you to use this as an indicator for me, to help me. This means we are stopped. We need some help on something. And that will show me you have a question. Does that mean that all your work stops completely, do you think? We can't ever stop our work in here, can we? We don't ever want to just stop. Because there's always time, even if we're waiting for a question to be answered, there's always something you can work on. So if you have a question, maybe it's a computer question, maybe it's a science question, show me by putting the red cup up so I know that you have a question. And Megan or Mrs. Hart or I can help you. This means, my husband came up with this one, and you know my husband has some strange ideas, so he said, the blue means, hey, we're cool, okay? We're working. We're all right here. Everything's cool, okay?
The students then begin to produce their slides.
Oh, there's a hole there. Don't do it. There's a hole there.
Don't do it. Whoa. Good.
Yeah, you can use it.
There's another one that has a heart.
I know, but that one is just connected to another one on the outside of the page. So it'll be cool. You'll see. When you fill it in.
See what? See? Please tell me.
That's good.
Okay, can I put that here? Let's do those.
The frills should be about the same color, but a little bit different. Yeah, that looks cool. That's good.
Yeah.
The students have written summaries about their new organisms. They use KidPix Deluxe to record themselves reading the summaries. The voice recordings will play as the slides are shown during the presentation.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Go. A common slow fox is an omnivore, so it eats fruits, plants, and meat. Its size is extremely small, and its eyesight is really good. It is a consumer, and it lives in a small hole in a tree stump.
Okay, now let's play and see if that sounds better.
A common slow fox is an omnivore, so it eats fruits, plants, and meat. Its size is extremely small, and its eyesight is really good. It is a consumer, and it lives in a small hole in a tree stump.
Satisfied with that?
Yeah, that's good.
The teacher asks the students to fill out a survey about the habitat unit. The survey will give the teacher feedback about how well the students like this learning activity and if other units should be taught in a similar way.
I want to know, do you really, really strongly agree with these sentences or do you disagree with them? So for number 1, I learned about science as I worked on this project. If you really think you learned a lot about science when you worked on this project, you're going to choose numbers that are closer to the 4 and 5. If you didn't, you're going to choose numbers that are over here. So you're going to put a number under each of these. Does that make sense?
Where do you want us to put the numbers?
Underneath each one.
Okay.
The students decide they would like to have feedback from the people who attend their slideshow. They create a survey that will provide them with information about the thoughts and opinions of the audience members.
So we could go 1, costumes. Didn't like. Liked very much. Give me some ideas here, guys, if you... We could put comments over here, so if they like the costumes, or they said didn't understand why the Woodlands were wearing chicken outfits, they could put comments. Slideshow, they might be, I couldn't hear it. You think that would be a good...
Display.
Okay, displays.
The students' family members and other individuals from the community have come to the school to watch the slideshow presentation.
Our project is based on woodland and forest. There is 2 kinds of forest, deciduous and coniferous. The forest that we are talking about today is the deciduous. The bald eagle is found in a range of habitats by forests and islands, freshwater lakes, and rivers. The southern parts of the U.S., such as Florida, it is quite at home. The green woodpecker has a chisel-like beak. The green woodpecker is found in Europe. It feeds on insects. A red-tailed hawk uses its claws to eat food. The red-tailed hawk can mostly eat anything. The immature hawk doesn't have a red tail, but the grown-up does.
After the slideshow is finished, the audience members travel around the room to view and learn about the habitat exhibits each group of students has created. The teacher also takes the time to discuss the project with parents and to answer their questions.
They've been good group members. They've worked together. They've learned
going through your toy box, finding everything for everybody else, and I'm like, well, what are you taking for yours?
Yeah.
I don't know, Mom.
That first week was a little hairy. I tell you, they all went different directions, and they had to really work at getting their goals all the same, and so that was a...
How long had they been working on it?
Well, 4 to 5 weeks. This is probably the 5th week, so...
Kind of
big,
bad weeks.
Big project, yeah.
Vacation.
The next day, the teacher and the students complete the unit. They have worked together to create a rubric that will be used to assess the students' habitat projects. The students used the rubric to assess the last slide they added to their slideshow.
I want you to think back on yesterday's slide and how you worked as a group on that slide, and I want you to evaluate yourselves, okay, using the same rubric. Let's look at the different criteria. The very first one, as we review this, appearance. You thought that the colors needed to be realistic, interesting, and the graphics are easy to understand. Would that apply to yesterday's slide too? Do you think that would be important for yesterday's slide? That the colors had to be realistic, needed to be interesting, needed to be clear? Okay.
On last slide, that would be almost those.
No, the last slide would be expert.
Yeah, I guess so, maybe.
But
on
the
group,
other was, yeah,
group work.
almost expert, except for the last slide, because the last slide we really worked together and solved our problems.
The teacher has the students compile a graph about their favorite foods. This graph is used to help the students understand how to interpret the information found in graphs.
Let's have 3 choices for our favorite food, okay? Bryce, give me one.
Pizza.
Pizza. There's quite a few of you that like pizza, aren't there? Okay. And another one, Jason.
Ice cream.
Oh, okay. Really quickly, can we know how many people thought pizza was Their favorite? How many?
14.
Yeah, 5, 10, 14.
5, 4.
Okay. We can also look at this and say some opinions, give some opinions on this information. What are they?
The third grade class likes pizza the best.
How many of you agree with that? The third grade class likes pizza the best. How many people don't think pizza is their favorite? Look up here on the tally sheet. How many people don't think pizza is their favorite? Rachel? How many people don't think pizza is their favorite food?
9.
Say that really loudly.
9.
9. How did you figure that?
You had 5 and K plus 4 is 9.
Yeah, these two were not pizza, so 9 people didn't think. And how many people thought pizza was their favorite?
14.
This graphing activity helps the students understand the information they received from their survey of the audience the day before.
So then we're going to look at each of these surveys. This person said the costumes they gave the costumes a 5. So where will that go?
That will go.
Where will that tally mark go? You agree? Mm-hmm. Okay, and this person said that the slideshow was 4. Go ahead, Cassie. And they said just needed to work on sound some and maybe read a little slower so it would come through clearer. Is that good information for us to use?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree where she put the tally? Yeah. Should we be concerned about this?
Well, no, not really.
Should we be concerned if we had we had a 2 here on sound, didn't we? Should we be concerned about this? We probably should be more concerned if there were 5 or 6 of them over here, right? Yeah. But we can make a general statement, can't we? That they pretty much liked it.